Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Rockingham Speedway here in North Carolina for the penultimate race of the season and the Rock Hard 110 right here on the Aussie Sim Commentator channel. Right, it's penultimate race, so just one more after this, and we will crown ourselves a new champion for Season 2 2024. Like the cars are just about ready to go to a pit party, so we'll pick them up as they come out of turn 4. Couple of people going through the pit lane on the back straight there. Yeah, Rockingham Speedway, nice bumpy little track. Steeped in history. Looks like they're about ready to go. Maybe they're just waiting a little bit longer. Oh, a couple of cars aren't with the back, that's why. I wouldn't be surprised if they go coming out of turn 2. Oh, but they're going to wait for the restart zone over in turn 1. Corey Cook wants to be on pole. He's playing the part of the pace car. Oh my. See, look, Corey Cook, the pace car. Pace car is in. Perfectly into the barrels, as we've come to expect from a real-life pace car. As the 05 Scott Rickard trying to get that super high line running. The good thing about Rockingham is with how bumpy it is, it's actually a multiple groove track, but it will eat up your right front if you're not careful. And it looks like we've got 3 lanes available for racing. A lot of people running the bottom, so Chris Champeau running the middle, a few people running up on the extreme high line. While these guys are pit partying, let's have a quick look at the standings. Of course, Hennessy is leading the way. And then just 4 points behind is TJ Crampton after his win last week. Scott Rickard sitting in third, just 10 points off the lead. Thomas Harmon, 13 points. Austin Collins is 14 points off, as there's been a big Barney there. Jonathan Hernandez, 24 points off the lead in fifth. Oh, sorry, in P6, sorry. So it seems that's probably about as far as what's going to be eligible for trying to take down Andrew Hennessy, who sits at the top of the timetables. So we're actually looking at Andrew Hennessy there on track right now. was expecting him to be carving his way through the field, but it looks like struggling to do that a little bit around here. So if he gets a speeding penalty like he did last week, might not be expecting him to be making his way to the front. At least not as quickly as what he has done in the past. Chris Champo and the 21 of Thad Baylor right in front of him. There goes Hennessy around one. Thad trying to go down low just to take the line away a little bit. Well, there's contact there between Ortega, Champ. No, that's not Chris Champo, that's the two, Jonathan Hernandez. Champo's in front of him. Oh, speaking of Hernandez, big time into defense coming out of two that time. Hennessy now dives to the bottom of Baylor. This is still the majority of the pack from the pit party. And Campbell trying to make his way through it as well. Thomas Harmon must get towards the front of it. Austin Collins is in this pack. Brian Chambliss is sitting at the back of this pack at the minute. And we also have Jonas Marquez in there. As Hernandez has just dipped out of the pack. Time winding down. There's just under 4 minutes left in practice. I mean, some of these guys are going to start getting ready to do some qualifying simulation runs. Some of these guys still just trying to figure out how to drive around here. I'd be one of those guys. I'd be sitting here for the whole hour and still not know how to drive this place. Ooh, Reggie Ortega, big time in the defense coming out of 4. Trying to follow that into defense. See, even on the low line now, they're just running slightly above the low line. But it's slightly less bumpy. Of course, Rockingham, one of those tracks in real life that's been brought back from the dead. Just freshly got a repave. It's all nice and smooth. could see a return to racing there for maybe the truck series at some point. Very shortly, we'll be cutting to a commercial break as time is winding down here in the Rockyard 110 practice from the Rockingham Speedway. Because these guys are about to go qualify, and it is, as I said, the penultimate race of the season. So how you run here can definitely affect what your chances are going to be like for next week's finale race at Homestead, Miami. But with that, we've still got this entire race to get through. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Racing action will be coming up very shortly. Welcome back. As you can see, time has just about run its course here for qualifying, which means very shortly we're going to get our starting grid for the Rock Hard 110 here from the Rockingham Speedway. Starting on the pole, here we have the 94 of Andrew Hennessy on his outside, with the 74 of Austin Collins. Starting out of P3, we'll have the 05 of Scott Rickard. P4 will be the 67 of Brian Chambliss. P5 will have the 12 of Chris Champeau. With P6, the 38 of Thomas Harmon. My apologies. P7 will be the 9 of Joe Slammer. With P8, the 03 of TJ Crampton. P9 will see the 61 of Corey Cook. With P10, 15 of Ken Campbell. Ken Campbell, my apologies. P11, the 13, Travis Massio. P12, the 22 of Reggie Ortega. P13 will be the 39 of James Watson. With P14, the 2 of Jonathan Hernandez. P15 will have the 24 of Frank Isaacson. And P16, the 68 of Andrew Griesbaum. P17 will see the 25 of Jack Sanders. With P18, the 51 of Matt Horton. P19 will have 21 Thad Failor. P20, the 78 of Brian Pizzicami. P21 will be the 00 of Jonas Marquez. And last but not least, the P22 will be the 5 of Mark Pentecoff. So that is your starters and drivers here for tonight's racing action. The pace car pulls away. Strength of field is a 34.21 for the 22 cars on track. Got 110 laps ahead of us. It's going to be an interesting one, that is for sure. Rockingham, one of those hard tracks to negotiate, especially over 110 laps. It's likely not everyone is going to make it to the end of the race, but most of them will. Pace car is going to make that hard left turn into pit lane without hitting the barrels. The iRacing pace car is far superior to the real life one. First start's going to be on green. All restarts will be on the leader inside of the restart zone. We are off and racing. And it looks like the 74, Austin Collins, actually having the early advantage here on the outside line. But that is quickly trumped by Hennessy on the inside, although they go side by side. Someone in the background got loose. I think that might have been the 12. And it's still a drag race between our two leaders as now they come out of turn 4, still side by side, door handle to door handle. Andrew Hennessy led the lap. Austin Collins still right there next to him. And it looks like Austin Collins is going to hold on to the advantage here coming out of turns 3 and 4. And he is going to be your leader clean and clear as he gets around Andrew Hennessy on raw pace alone. Now he's going to start taking away the line, giving Hennessy the dirty air. Hennessy just about tapping the fence coming out of turn 2. Now that these guys have gotten themselves single filed out, let's have a look through the pack here a little bit, see what we can see. That's Frank Isaacson in the 24. As we go up to this little battle here. Everyone behind the 15 of Ken Campbell is the 38 Thomas Harmon, 22 Reggie Ortega, 9 of Joe Slammer, the 61 Corey Cook, 12 Chris Champeau, and the 2 of Jonathan Hernandez. It looks like that outside line is definitely the one with the advantage. at least over the short run here. Where he dove it in hard there on the inside line. Thomas, defensive to the inside. He's going to try and save tyres for later in the run. Gap for our leader is out to about 3.5 tenths of a second. So now we have 6 laps complete. Did 12. Christian Poe getting very squirrely there while he's behind at the 61 of the Cookie Monster. Ooh, little puff of smoke out of the 15 car. Come out of turn 2. Felt that little bit unsettled over the bumps by the looks of things. Gap between our 2 leaders is starting to come down as well. Hennessy and Rickard are right there behind Austin Collins. Chavlis and Crampton just waiting in the wings as well. As big run for Hennessy that time. That's a slide job himself, as Mark Pentacuff is already in the pits. Guessing Mark has already made one of those small mistakes and gotten himself into the fence. Probably broke a tie rod or something. He's in getting it fixed. As Collins now goes to the outside to defend the outside line from the 94 of Hennessy. Hennessy still running the inside line though. And Collins taking home the advantage there. Takes away the line in 3 and 4. And Mark Pentacuff, OUT, out of the race. First one out, unfortunately. You see now the big race is on for P2 between the 05 of Rickard and the 94 of Hennessy. Phoenix really proved that sometimes you can put a chink in the armor there of Hennessy. Now everyone's trying to take advantage of that. Hennessy just wants to get out in front of Austin Collins here so he can control the race. Controlling the race is probably the most important thing you can do. Leading from the front. I don't think fuel's going to be too much of an issue around a track like this. Hennessy peeking to the outside, wanting to get some momentums up for the front straight. He's got the momentums. He's right on Austin's tail. Austin goes low instead of defending high. Hennessy gets the fence. And now he dives down low for the turn 3. Austin still holding on. Austin with some big momentum there coming out of 4. Managing to keep ahead. But how long can he do that for? As in the background behind him, Rickard just caught the fence. And Collins holds on. Great battle here at the front of the pack. I just saw Hernandez losing out on a couple of positions. He might have caught the fence. Campo slowly moving his way up the field. Hennessy once again trying to get that momentum on the outside line. And this time he'll surge past and into the lead. Collins now trying to run the outside line, but that was all Hennessy needed. He's already starting to build the gap. It's over 2/10. He goes now. Rickard looking for an inside move on Collins. Collins almost into the fence there in turns 1 and 2. But he defended well from Rickard. Got plenty of momentum back on the 94. Couldn't do anything with it though, but look at the speed that he's got right back to the tail of Hennessy. All of them ran the high line there. The Hennessy's defending now as he slide jobs up the track. Does a slide job on no one. And it looks like it actually worked out for him a little bit there. Go check in on the rest of the field real quick, see what's going on. 12 and a 38. That's Champo and Harmon. Harmon, who's lost a couple since the start of this race, looking to the outside of Champo. Champo similarly lost a couple since the start of this race as they swap positions. Harmon on a charge right now. Harmon, who's probably been saving his tyres for the entire run so far, looking to use them up now. Corey Cook, Reggie Ortega, they're also battling there in front of Harmon. We're looking through the field a little bit more. There's a 78T of Brian Prizakemi. He was battling hard with James Watson and Andrew Griesbaum. Oh, the 12, Chris Champo got very loose, put it in the fence. Gonna be a little bit of damage on his car. Looks like he's able to keep going though. Brian Pizzacami gets right up onto the back of Chris here. But it looks like Champ really has an ill-handling car. And he's going to bring it in for repair. That's unfortunate for Chris Champo. There's our leaders. And it looks like Andrew Hennessy really hasn't been able to run away here from Collins and Rickard. They also have a pretty sizable gap over P4, Ryan Chambliss. Got to just over 2.5 seconds between first and fourth. You see Austin all over the tail of Hennessy. Oh, Hennessy running high. Stifled the run of Collins. Collins still right there on his tail though, forcing Hennessy to run high again. To 12, Chris Champeau's just come out of the pits. Now this has got to be burning up their tyres running that high, that consistently, and that quickly. Austin almost had a peek down to the inside. And he just relaxed off a little bit. Well, Chris Champeau on fresher tyres. He's making his way through these guys now. They'll just turn it down and swoop underneath them quite quickly. As Hennessy once again does a slide job on himself coming out of 4. Champeau gets one of his laps back. If we were to get a caution right now, Champeau would be in the box seat to get the lucky dog. Or if we get a caution after everyone's completed their pit stop cycle, then similarly, he'll be in a great position. We are going to go to a commercial break now, and when we come back we'll have more racing action and possibly some green flag stops coming up shortly, so make sure you guys stay tuned. Welcome back to the Rock Hard 110 here from the Rockingham Speedway. And as you can see, the race is still on in earnest between our two leaders. And a couple of people have actually gone to the pit lane while we're in commercial break. TJ Crampton, one of those, pitted as soon as we went to commercial, sorry. And he's actually still in the pits. He's 4 laps down at this point. And the Cookie Monster himself, Corey Cook, has been into and out of the pits in that time as well. He's gone 1 lap down. So Chris Champeau is now not in the box seat as far as getting the lucky dog if we were to get a caution. The gap starting to grow a little bit here between our top 2 drivers. It's now out to half a second. Scott Rickard is out to about a second behind. So half a second between our top 3. Half a second between the top 2, and then half a second between second and third. So look elsewhere in the pack. There's the 78. Brian Pizzicami trying to get to the inside of the 9 of Joe Slama. And that is going to be for the 8th position. 51, Matt Horton there as well. It looks like Pizzicami just starting to struggle a little bit. We're trying to make moves. So he dives it in deep into 1 and 2 there. Couldn't get the move made on Slama. And it looks like Harmon's similarly having an issue trying to make the move on Ortega. They're battling over the 6th position there, Ortega and Harmon. Middle lane definitely seems like the place to be. It's where the majority of people are running. It's where the most rubber is laid down as well. And it looks to be the closest to the bottom you can get with minimal bumps. Although everyone running high in 1 and 2. This is turning out to be a pretty damn good race here for the back of the top 10. Horton just caught the fence a little bit. We also have our first car naturally 1 lap down in Jack Sanders. So now he's the one in lucky dog position if we were to get a caution. We're also nearing the halfway point in this race, as Slama has gone side by side with Harmon. Pizzicami just looking to see which one of these two is going to have the advantage so he can go with them. Looks like Harmon has the advantage. Pizzicami chose the wrong lane in the corner, so he loses out on taking that position. It looks like Sanders has come into the pit. possibly held up Collins and Rickard there, as now Hennessy has just about 2 seconds in his gap as the leader. The Corey Cook once more back into lucky dog position. So Frank Isaacson and Jonas Marquez not too far away from possibly going a lap down here. As side by side, the 9 and 38 go once more. And once more, the 51 bounces off the fence. '61 has joined the party as well with his fresher tyres. The outside of Pizzacami he goes. And Slammer has gotten a move made on Harmon. Harmon trying to fight back, but he caught the fence on entry to turn 1. And now he's at threat of losing position to the 78 of Pizzacami. As we are at the halfway point. 55 down, 55 to go. Well, we're getting a few pit stops now. And the Cookie Monster sending it 3 wide on the lead lap traffic. That put a spanner into the works for a few of them. Ed Baylor is currently in the pits, so too Travis Massio. Hernandez and Marquez are both in the pits as well, and Isaacson. Of Chris Champeau and his fresher tyres has caught up to this pack. He's trying to make his way through as painlessly as possible. Slama is pitting. Rickard's just come into the pits from P3. I have to wait and see where Rickard comes out compared to the leader. Hennessy is staying out. Trying to run that little bit longer. Campbell's in the pits. And this little pack we're following here is half a lap behind the leaders. And Hennessy's coming in this time. Collins is going to stay out. He's going to lead another lap. Now Rickard, since he was on the fresher tyres 2 laps earlier than Hennessy, let's see what that's going to do to the standings here. There he is. Now, whereas Hennessy's just in front. So Rickard getting a little bit balked here from the 25 of Sanders. And that's prevented him from getting in front of Hennessy. And now Hennessy has 2 lap fresher tyres than Rickard. The traffic definitely being detrimental here. Sanders continuously trying to race Rickard. Collins, Harmon and Pisacami still have not pitted yet. Chambliss has pitted. There he is, just coming out of the pits now. Harmon's in the pits. Cookie Monster has unlapped himself. There is the leader. Pisacami's just coming to the pits, so now Austin Collins, the only one to have not pitted yet. And I understand him wanting to run as long as he can, but I think it's going to work out for him. Rickard has gotten around Hennessy too. We didn't see that. They're side by side. Rickard with the preferred outside line. Both these guys catching up to Austin Collins, who again has still not pitted yet. So he's not going to be anywhere near this leading battle by the time he does pit. Rickard takes the advantage. He's going to keep running high just to try and build that little bit extra of a momentum gap over Hennessy, as they're both on the tail of Collins now. Collins catches the fence. An excellent battle for what should be the lead later on in the race. Because technically it's not even the race for the lead on the track as far as the people who have pitted, because Corey Cook, just a couple of seconds up in front of them, has pitted. Looks like Collins is going to pit this time. Or he just had a really bad run through turns 3 and 4. But these guys are just under 2 seconds behind Corey Cook, who is on 20 lap older tyres. Sanders is back in the pits. Oh, Hennessy chose the wrong lane there. Was stuck behind Jonas Marquez, as now this is the race for the effective lead as they both get around the 61 of Corey Cook. Collins is in the pits now. So everyone who was 1 lap down now back on the lead lap. Everyone at 2 laps down is now back 1 lap down. The race is still on for the lead. As hard as it's going to be to look away, we're going to have to, because we're going to go to another commercial break. And when we come back, we will be going to the end of this race. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Welcome back to the Rock Hard 110 here from the Rockingham Speedway. As you see, the battle for the lead still absolutely on in earnest. These two have been stuck side by side for the majority of the advert break. I was just reading up on what happened to TJ Cranton. He was going to go for an audacious two-stop, and Will hopped into the barrels like the pace car at Phoenix. Tore out his rear axle, so that's why he's out of racing action. This is a great side-by-side battle here between Rickard and Hennessy. Hennessy desperately trying to get back into the front, and Rickard just trying to claw back a few more points on him. It's been a while since we've looked anywhere else, because this has been where the big battle has been the whole time. There's so many cars also at risk of going a lap down. They're doing 25-second lap times around here at the moment. Oh, Hennessy right on the tail, just about pushing Rickard through turns 1 and 2. As Jack Sanders has just rejoined the fray on the track. 12 laps down in 20th position. Such close racing between our two leaders here. The best part is they can talk to each other throughout the race as well. Not sure what they're saying to each other, but they're definitely talking. As they're catching up to Jonathan Hernandez. Surprised to see Hernandez all the way down in 16th and about to go a lap down. Normally he's got more pace than this. It just seems that Rockingham is not his kind of track. At the same time as these guys catching up to Hernandez, who just balked Scott Rickard. 25 of Jack Sanders has come back to them with his fresh tyres. And Paul just got Rickard even more, so we've just been robbed of an excellent battle there. See if Rickard can catch back up to Hennessy, try and make something of this race. Sanders on his fresher tyres will just swoop past Hennessy here at any time. Or maybe not. Now they're catching up to Chris Champeau. Champeau, who is already 1 lap down. About to go a second. The 25 of Jack Sanders here. He's got plenty of pace with his fresh tyres. But he just can't quite get around the 94 of Hennessy. So he's just sitting there playing rear gunner for Hennessy at the minute by the looks of things. Scott Rickard has dropped well off the pace. Let's have a look through the field, see what we got going on. So I've noticed that Pizzakemi has been marching his way up the field. He was one of those at risk of going a lap down. The 74 of Austin Collins has just made his way up into the 5th position. He has the freshest tyres of them all at the moment. He only has 20 laps on them. There's Thomas Harmon, he's in P10. Just behind him, Brian Pizzakemi is making the move for 11th on the inside of Brian Chambliss. Also, Frank Hardison just bounced off the wall ever so slightly there, coming out of 2 as Harmon was going past him. James Watson's probably about to go a lap down here very shortly. There's our leader once more, Andrew Hennessy. Still Jack Sanders on his tail. They're catching up to James Watson. Watson was another one who was looking for a good run here tonight. Couldn't quite come to grips with the way that the track drives with these trucks. As we've got 10 laps to go now. And if there's any kind of a saving grace for Rickard here, it'd be the possibility of a late race caution, because that would definitely throw a spanner into the works. We've been hearing whispers of a possibility of debris punches coming in soon. Which means there's a possibility of debris cautions soon. As Travis Massey and Andrew Griesbaum, who are battling side by side for position, looking like they're about to go a lap down. Griesbaum backed out and let Hennessy through. Dustin Collins has worked his way into fourth. But soon he'll attempt to get third away from Ken Campbell. There's a 78 Brian Pizzicami. Worked his way back into P9. 5 is Scott Rickard. Now 3 seconds off the lead. Got 5 laps left in this race. As I said, his only saving grace now would be if we get a caution. Go back to our leader, Andrew Hennessy. Got clear track in front of him for the moment. He's catching up to Frank Isaacson. And laps are ticking down. 2 to go at the line this time. This lap is the last lap that will have the possibility of a caution if we were to get one. Yes, he got a little bit loose there coming out of 2. Fortunately, no one close enough to do anything with it. As he comes out of turn 4 for the penultimate time, it's going to be white flag, last lap. Last chance to win it or wear it for Andrew Hennessy. And with 3 1/4 seconds, it should be pretty much a guarantee. If he slows down and lets the 25 go, he's just cruising here on the last lap. He's actually not pushing it at all. Comes out of turn 4. The winner of the Rock Hard 110 from Rockingham Speedway, the 94 of Andrew Hennessy. P2 is going to go the way of Scott Rickard. P3 to Ken Campbell. Gotta wait for everyone to finish, and then we'll bring the results up on the screen. There we go. It's Hennessy, Rickard, Campbell, Collins, Slammer, Harmon, Horton, Ortega, Pizzicami, and Baylor. That's your top 10. If we look over the page, we've got Cook, Chambliss, Massio, Watson, Griesbaum, Marquez, Hernandez, Isaacson, Champeau, and Sanders. Go over the page to our 2 retirements have been TJ Crampton and Mark Pentecoff. See in the background there, Hennessy already indulging in his victory burnouts. So with that, we are going to go to another quick commercial break. When we come back, we will have driver interviews. Make sure you guys stay tuned. All right, it is now time for driver interviews, and as always, we kick things off with our Autism Awareness Hard Charger Award. And tonight's Hard Charger is also our 3rd place getter, the 15 of Mr. Ken Campbell. Ken, congratulations on coming home with P3 and a Hard Charger Award here. Of course, Rockingham, not the easiest track to make overtakes on.
Yeah, so got really lucky there at the start. So I started 10th. I was on the outside and was able to roll the top there, get around several guys there at the beginning. I was like, okay, I'm going to burn my stuff up because the top usually comes in later, but you don't want to be up there the whole time. So I was lucky enough to kind of get in a spot where I was able to save some tire after that. And turned out I just had a really good long run line and long run truck. After pit stops, guys were talking about burning the right fronts off and having really bad tire wear, and mine was actually too good. And so at pit stops I was like, oh, I've got to go a little bit harder. And so then coming out again was doing the same thing, and then started to go hard there at the end. It was just a little bit too late there to catch Scott, but Yeah, it was fun, and yeah, I definitely think I had a long run truck tonight, and I did not want to see a caution. Everybody was screaming for a caution. I was like, please no.
All right, now just having a quick whiz at the points, and where are you? There you are. So you're
Well, I'm
currently
not in the playoffs. So.
yeah, you're the best of the rest at the moment. Coming into this points, 35 points ahead of Reggie Ortega, who was in 12th. So this still looks good for you for being P11 there at the end.
Yeah, hey, I'll take best of the rest. Was in a good playoff spot and wasn't able to make the final race of the regular season, and so that kind of bumped me out. And so, yeah, I like mixing it up with guys and showing, like, hey, I could be doing something if I was in it, but don't know that anybody has anything for Hennessy. But yeah, everybody else, look out.
All right, now let's look forward to next week. Of course, it's the grand finale of the season, and we're going to be going to the Homestead Miami Speedway. What's the feeling like for you as we go into Florida to end the season off?
Love Homestead. Love that it's the final race of the season. You've got so many grooves there that you can work with, and it usually goes green for the most part with some really hard racing. So, really looking forward to that, and just ending the season on a really good note. It's been a really good season. Just very enjoyable, and yeah, just had a lot of fun. Looking forward to next season. But yeah, maybe we can have one more good race before we put a bow on this one.
All right, now before we let you go here tonight, Ken, anyone want to give a quick shout out to?
Yeah, as always, first and foremost, shout out to my wife and kids. They support me in everything that I do, sim racing included. My teammates at Nuka Cola, Kyle, Bryan, and TJ. TJ had a pace car moment and hit the barrels on his pit entry. All the guys back at the shop at Storm Motorsports, everybody in the league, as I've already said, it's just so much fun to show up here every Tuesday night and race. Guys race hard, but they race clean, and being in Discord is always a really fun time. Team Watson Racing setups for their support. Check them out if you're into open setups. Use code WattsPin39 for 10% off, and you for always doing a fantastic job up in the booth.
All right, well, thank you very much for coming out, Ken. Congratulations on the Autism Winners Hard Charger Award and coming home P3 here tonight.
Appreciate it, man. Have a good one.
All right, guys, that was Ken Campbell and P3 and Hard Charger. Definitely a hard feat to top. But coming up next, we're going to be talking to our second place getter. And tonight's second place, who was very unlucky, got a little bit balked by traffic there, of course, is the '05 of Scott Rickard. Scott, you were in the absolute box seat there coming out of the pit stop cycle, but you were mired by traffic on your outlaps when you were trying to get a gap over Hennessy, and then again uh, in heavy battling with him, mired by lap cars once more.
Yeah, I knew my strategy would have to be, and it was to just get in front of him, and hopefully just make it so he couldn't pass me once I got in front of him. And it was working for a while up until I got held up by the lap car, and then it was over because he had fresh tires at that point anyway from pitting later. I had to try something.
It definitely looked like an excellent race. So for the entire period of the race, earlier on, it was you and Austin Collins trying to battle it out with him for the lead. And then, just as the run continued on, you guys just lost touch with him. But I thought going for the early stop there definitely brought you back into the conversation a little bit with that battle.
Yeah, I was hoping to be able to do it and get at least enough of a lead, and he wouldn't notice I pit. But he was paying attention. He saw I pit, so he just followed me in. Once he got in front of me after with the fresher tires from that, and I wasn't going to get it back anyway because I was trying to just hold him up as much as I could.
Now let's talk about just the way that this track was driving. It looked like the way to try and get an overtake going was if you were to get the momentum off the high line, as we're actually looking at the side by side battle here in the replay screen. So what was it like just trying to make an overtake and try and get a run on him with the high line being just that little bit more momentum dominant?
it was really hard, especially even if you got underneath them and in the corner. It was really hard once you got off the corner. It was just so tight in the centers and exit here that you couldn't get throttle off like you wanted to stay next to them. It was just really high dominance, so I tried what I did.
All right, now let's look forward to next week. Going to be going to the multi-groove Homestead Miami Speedway. What's the feeling like for you as we go into Homestead to end off the season?
I'm either going to be probably up front or at the back. Homestead's one of those. It's 50-50 how I feel about how I'm going to be there. So I feel probably decent, at least with a truck there. So maybe I could try something to get a win. I was trying to get one this season. Haven't done it yet.
And having a quick squiz at the points, you're only 6 behind Hennessy coming into this race, so you're still there or thereabouts as far as the final race goes. But it looks like you're probably going to have to beat him by maybe about 8 positions um, if you are to take home the championship. Does that put a little bit of extra pressure on you going into Homestead, or are you just going to run your own race and hope for the best?
I'm just going to run my race. I'm going to need help. I doubt he's going to finish back far enough without any wrecking or something happening to him for me to even have a chance. I doubt he's going to run that bad. So I'll just run my race, and whatever happens, happens.
All right, now before we let you go here tonight, Scott, anyone who want to give a quick shout out to?
Team Watson Racing Setups, my dog, and everybody puts the league on.
All right, short and sweet. Thank you very much for coming out, Scott, and we look forward to seeing what you can do next week at Homestead.
Yeah, we'll see you.
All right, guys, that was our second place getter, the 05 of Scott Rickard. Coming up next, we got tonight's winner, and what an emphatic victory it is. We can even see him on screen as we're watching the side-by-side battle between himself and Scott. Of course, it is the 94 of Andrew Hennessy. Andrew, you were absolutely just on it here tonight. Austin and Scott didn't let you get away too early, too quickly. But in that second run, lap traffic definitely came to your favor there to allow you to pull away from Scott.
Yeah, we came out in the worst lap traffic possible. Scott was telling me he got blocked by somebody and he would have passed me because he put a couple laps early. And then I got blocked by Chris because we were side by side and there was nowhere for him to go out of the way. So I lost the lead because of that. And then I think it was Jonathan because I almost dove free wide to get underneath him. And luckily that got me back in the lead, and I think I had better tires after that, so I was able just to take off from Scott with the clean air also.
It definitely looked like a bit of an interesting race out there with the way that the truck drove. I noticed a couple times you just got that little bit loose on exit. A couple times you got up into the fence. What was it like driving around old bumpy Rockingham?
It looked like I was loose, but that is the tightest thing I've ever driven at this track. It was fine for the first 20 laps. It was a little loose, especially on the bottom. You drove the bottom more, the car would get looser. But definitely, if you ran the top a lot, it just wanted to take the fence down essentially and just plow. So it was mostly just trying to keep the right front on the thing and just not burn it throughout the long runs.
All right, now let's look forward to next week. Going to be going to the multiple groove Homestead Miami Speedway. What's the feeling like for you as we head into Homestead to end off the season?
That's my favorite track. A mile and a half. I love Homestead, so I can't wait. That track's awesome.
I mean, I am very partial to Homestead myself. I just suck at racing there.
It's fun. It has everything. You run so many lines and the tire wear. That's one of my favorite tracks ever with every car. So it should be a lot of fun.
Now, if my calculations are correct, you're probably going to be about 8 or 9 points ahead of Scott coming into the final race here at Homestead. I'm not sure if points have been updated yet, but factoring in bonus points and finishing position, you'd gain +1 on him for finishing ahead, and then I'm guessing +1 for most laps led. And so it should be about 8 or 9 points of a lead, which means it should be pretty easy sailing for you as long as nothing goes wrong at Homestead.
You just jinxed it.
That's the plan.
No, on my luck, no, on my luck, I'm just gonna drop connection, or I'm gonna get plowed into on lap 1. and then yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time. But before we let you go here tonight, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to?
Yeah, you doing the broadcast, everyone who shows up to the league every week, and all the admins that put this on every week, and Kevin James, who's on the side of my car. He helps me win.
All right. Well, very big thank you for your time. Congratulations on coming home with the win, and we look forward to seeing what you can do at Homestead for the final race.
Yeah, I can't wait for that track. That should be a lot of fun.
All right, guys. That was our winner here tonight, the 94 of Andrew Hennessy. It's going to end things us for here tonight as well. Thank you all so much for coming out, and we'll see you guys for the championship race next week. But until then, I've been your commentator, the Aussie Sim commentator. We'll see you guys at Homestead.